$19,999. That was the price in the advertisement. 3 hours later, Brown was looking at $25,337. Same car. Same mileage. Same keys. But $5,338 had appeared before Brown could drive it home. And the biggest surprise was a product he had never requested. How did a $20,000 car become a $25,000 decision? Let us rewind. Brown had spent weeks looking for a reliable used car. Most of the ones he liked cost more than $22,000. Then he found the listing. The right model, the right mileage, a clean set of photos. And one large red number. $19,999. Brown called the dealership. Is that the real price? The salesperson answered carefully. That is the advertised price. Come in and we will go through everything. Brown focused on the number and missed the warning hidden inside the sentence. The dealership was 45 minutes away. Brown inspected the car and took it for a test drive. The engine sounded smooth, the seats felt comfortable. Before returning the keys, he had already imagined driving it to work. The car no longer felt like one option among many. It felt like his car. Back at the desk, the salesperson asked what Brown liked most about it. Brown talked about the quiet engine and the clean interior. He was offered coffee. His trade-in came up. Financing came up. The price did not. Then the salesperson collected Brown's license and address and began entering information into a computer. By this point, Brown had driven across town, inspected the car, tested it and spent nearly 2 hours at the dealership. Only then did a full price sheet appear on the desk. This was the first time Brown saw the amount required to take the car home. The first line looked familiar. Vehicle price, $19,999. The next line was a $995 dealer preparation fee. Then came a $1,295 protection package for paint protection and anti-theft marking, products Brown had never asked to buy. Below that was a $799 documentation fee. Then a $199 electronic filing fee. Before tax or registration, the car had already reached $23,287. Sales tax added about $1,630. Title and registration added another $420. At the bottom of the page, $25,337. Brown pointed back to the first line. The advertisement said $19,999. The salesperson nodded. That is the price of the vehicle. The number from the ad was still on the page. It simply was not the number Brown could pay. Brown asked whether every additional line was required. The salesperson called them standard charges. But standard did not tell Brown which charges came from the government, which came from the dealership and which paid for products he could refuse. Brown pointed at the protection package. I did not order this. The salesperson said it had already been installed and left to speak with a manager. 10 minutes later, the manager removed $300 and circled the reduction. Beside it, he wrote, savings. The new total was $25,037. Brown was now being invited to compare that number with $25,337, not with the price that brought him through the door. He had not turned the advertisement into a deal. He had only made the surprise slightly smaller. This is drip pricing. The first number wins Brown's attention. The remaining cost arrives later, in smaller pieces. First $995. Then $1,295. Then $799. Then $199. No single line looked enormous beside a $20,000 car, but together, they changed the decision. The timing changed it too. At home, leaving the listing would have cost Brown nothing. At the dealership, walking away meant abandoning the drive, the test, the paperwork and the car he had already pictured owning. The low number helped this car defeat other listings online. The complete number appeared only after starting over somewhere else felt inconvenient. If the complete total had appeared beside the advertisement, Brown could have compared it with 5 other cars in minutes. Inside the dealership, making the same comparison meant requesting new quotes, driving to another lot and repeating the process. Drip pricing did not make the extra cost smaller. It made the extra cost harder to compare. That is the mechanism. The price arrives in pieces, after the buyer arrives in person. Not every amount below the vehicle price belongs in the same category. Sales tax, title and registration are government charges. They are real costs and vary by location. Dealer fees have different names, amounts and rules depending on where the car is sold. Products such as paint protection, anti-theft marking, service contracts and gap coverage are add-ons. Their price should be visible, and Brown should decide whether he wants them before signing. The useful question is not simply, are there fees? It is, what exact amount must I pay to take this specific car home? Brown did not sign. He went home and emailed 3 dealerships selling similar cars. He asked each one for a written, itemized out-the-door price tied to the exact stock number. That means the complete purchase price before financing, including fees, add-ons, tax, title and registration. One dealership refused to provide it without another appointment. Brown removed that dealership from his list. Another sent a quote for a car advertised at $21,200. Online, it looked more expensive. It was a similar model with similar mileage. The written quote showed a smaller documentation fee, no protection package and no surprise preparation charge. Its complete price was about $23,400. The car with the higher advertisement was almost $2,000 cheaper to take home. Brown had not found a cheaper car. He had found a cheaper first number. So Brown made one rule. No trip to the dealership until the exact car has a written, itemized out-the-door quote. It should separate the vehicle price, mandatory dealer charges, optional add-ons, tax, title and registration. If an optional product appears, Brown can accept it, reject it or compare its price elsewhere. If the dealer refuses to provide the total, Brown already has useful information before losing an afternoon. Only after the purchase price is fixed does Brown compare financing. The advertisement showed Brown the number that earned his attention. The written quote showed him the number that deserved his money. Brown no longer shops for the cheapest advertisement. He shops for the cheapest bottom line.